The night air in Chicago's Boys Town cracked like a whip as the first fist connected with Alex's jaw, sending the rainbow pride badge skittering across the rain-slicked pavement like a fallen star. "Freak!" the cop snarled, his boot grinding it into the gutter, while his partner pinned Alex's arms behind his back. The teen's scream swallowed by the indifferent hum of the L train overhead. In that frozen heartbeat, as blood bloomed warm on his tongue, Alex wondered if this was how it ended. Not with a bang, but with the dull thud of badges turned weapons against the very boy they'd sworn to protect. Alex Rivera had always known the world could turn on you faster than a summer storm over Lake Michigan. At 17, he wore his queerness like armor. The pride badge on his backpack a quiet declaration, his sharp wit a shield against the sideways glances in the hallways of Lincoln Park High. But that June evening, during the tail end of Pride Month, armor felt paper-thin. He'd been heading home from a volunteer shift at the local LGBTQ center, backpack slung over one shoulder, earbuds blasting Hosier's gravelly hymns to forbidden love. The streets buzzed with the afterglow of the parade, drag queens in glittering heels teetering past food trucks, couples hand in hand stealing kisses under string lights. Alex smiled faintly, texting his best friend Mia, "Missed the after-party. Rain check." He didn't see the squad car until its lights sliced the dusk like accusatory fingers. Pulled up curbside, two officers stepping out with the lazy swagger of men who owned the night. Officer Harlan Reed, broad-shouldered and red-faced, at Alex's badge first, then the slim fit of his jeans, the rainbow wristband peeking from his sleeve. "Evening, kid," Reed drawled, his voice thick with that South Side accent that masked disdain as drawl. "What's with the glitter parade?" Alex's heart stuttered, but he kept his chin up, years of practice. "Just heading home, officer. Happy Pride." It was meant as olive branch, but it landed like gasoline on embers. The second cop, younger, with a buzzcut and eyes like chipped flint, Officer Kyle Vance, snorted. "Pride? This ain't your playground, boy." Before Alex could backpedal, Vance lunged, yanking the badge from his jacket with a rip of fabric. "What's this shit supposed to mean? You advertising?" "Hey, that's mine." Alex's voice cracked, reaching out, but Reed was on him in an instant, slamming him against the brick wall of a taqueria. The impact jarred his teeth, stars exploding behind his eyelids. "Resisting," Reed muttered into his radio, though Alex's hands were empty, his body limp with shock. It escalated in blurs, Vance's knee driving into Alex's gut, folding him like wet cardboard. Reed's fists raining down, crack to the ribs, thud to the shoulder, each blow punctuated by slurs that slithered like venom. "Pansy. Deviant. Go back to your parade." Alex curled fetal on the ground, tasting copper and asphalt, his mind a whirlwind of "why me? Why now?" A passing jogger glanced, then hurried on, better not to get involved. The world shrank to the rhythm of boots and grunts, until Vance's radio crackled. "Unit 7, respond to disturbance on Halstead." They left him there, crumpled in the alley's shadow, the pride badge a crumpled foil in the puddle beside him. Sirens wailed distant, mocking. Alex dragged himself up on trembling arms, ribs screaming, and fumbled for his phone. The screen was cracked, but it lit up with one bar. He dialed the only number he could think of, the one he'd avoided for months. Dad. Across town, in a sparse Wrigleyville apartment that smelled of black coffee and old case files, Marcus Rivera nursed a tumbler of bourbon, staring at the grainy photo on his laptop. Retired FBI special agent, 20 years chasing ghosts in counterterror divisions from Quantico to Kabul, now reduced to consulting gigs and the hollow echo of an empty nest. The divorce from Elena 5 years back had been civil, custody shared, But Alex had been the fracture point. When the boy came out at 15, Marcus had frozen, his agent's instincts screaming compartmentalize, assess threat, but all he'd managed was a stiff "we'll talk later." Later never came. Alex stopped calling. Marcus buried himself in work. Pride Month rolled around annually like a bad anniversary, a reminder of the sun he'd half-raised into silence. The phone buzzed like a grenade pin pulling. Marcus glanced at the caller ID, Alex, and nearly let it ring out. But something in the late hour, the kid's voice when it finally broke through, gasped, wet with tears, yanked him upright. "Dad? Cops. They hurt me. For this stupid badge." Marcus was moving before the words landed fully, keys in hand, jacket slung over his broad frame. "Where are you?" "Stay put." "I'm coming." The drive was a blur of red lights run. Horns blared in futile protest. He found Alex huddled on a bench outside the ER entrance at Illinois Masonic. Jacket torn, face a map of purple blooms and split skin. The boy looked up, eyes hollowed by pain and something deeper, betrayal, raw as an open wound. "Dad?" Alex whispered, and Marcus pulled him into a hug that was all angles and unspoken apologies. The teen's sobs muffled against his wool coat. For the first time in years, Marcus felt the weight of fatherhood not as duty, but as a fire reigniting in his chest. The ER was a fluorescent purgatory. Beeping monitors, harried nurses triaging gunshot wounds and bar fights. Marcus paced the waiting room while Alex got stitched. 7 in total, 3 cracked ribs taped, a mild concussion. When the doctor emerged, a no-nonsense woman named Patel, her report was clinical brutality. Bruises consistent with assault. "Will notify CPD for a report." "Notify?" Marcus's voice was low thunder, honed from interrogations in windowless rooms. "This was your officers. I want names, badges, everything, Dr." Patel hesitated, glancing at Alex, now dozing under painkillers in the curtain bay. "It's procedure, Mr. Rivera." "But," the boy mentioned a pride badge. "We've seen this before. Be careful. Internal affairs can drag." Marcus nodded, but his mind was already mapping the battlefield. Back in his bureau days, he'd cracked cartels and foiled plots with nothing but a file and a glare. This was personal. He snapped photos of Alex's injuries with his phone, angles precise as evidence logs. By dawn, as Alex slept fitfully in the hospital bed, Marcus was on his laptop, cross-referencing body cam footage requests via old contacts at the 19th District Station. But the first betrayal stung before the sun crested the skyline. A text from his ex-partner, Tom Hargrove, still active duty, a bear of a man who'd shared beers and stakeouts. Pinged in, heard about the kid. Rough night. But come on, Marcus. Streets full of agitators. Probably mouthing off. Let it slide. Marcus's jaw clenched, thumbs hovering. Agitators? My son? He typed back. Names, Reed and Vance. I want the tape. No reply. By noon, when Marcus arrived at the station with Alex in tow, bandaged, stubborn, refusing a wheelchair, the desk sergeant stonewalled. No footage yet, sir. Processing. Bullshit, Marcus growled, flashing his old creds like a talisman. I know how this works. You bury it, it festers. Alex, perched on a plastic chair, tugged his sleeve. Dad, maybe we just go home. But home was a battlefield now, too. Elena arrived in a flurry of perfume and worry, hugging Alex fiercely before rounding on Marcus. You weren't there. Again. What kind of father? I am now, he cut in, voice steady but eyes pleading. Let me fix this. She relented, but the rift lingered, a fault line in the family fault line. That night, over takeout lo mein in the hospital room, Alex opened up, halting at first, then in a rush. The beatings at school he'd hidden, the crushes on boys who'd ghosted him, the isolation that pride had cracked open like sunlight through blinds. I thought you'd hate me for it, he admitted, picking at his tray. When I told you, Marcus swallowed hard, the bourbon's burn replaced by regret's acid. I was scared, kid. Scared I'd failed you. But hating? Never. He reached across the bed rail, clasping Alex's hand, calloused palm to slender fingers, and for a moment, the room held only the beep of the heart monitor, a duet of reconciliation. The days blurred into a tense standoff, Chicago's summer heat mirroring the simmer in Marcus's veins. He dove into the case like it was a Cold War op. Anonymous tips to local reporters, FOIA requests filed with surgical precision. Even a late-night meet with a whistleblower priest from Alex's old Catholic youth group who'd seen too many accidents in the precinct. Alex, discharged but sidelined by doctor's orders, crashed at Marcus's apartment, a minimalist cave of leather-bound thrillers and a Cubs pennant faded from glory. For the first time, father and son shared space without the buffer of Elena's mediation, and it was equal parts awkward and electric. Mornings started with coffee, black for Marcus, iced with oat milk for Alex, and tentative talks. Remember that time we went to Wrigley? Just us? You caught a foul ball off Sosa, Marcus would say, stirring sugar like it was a ritual. Alex would nod, a ghost smile cracking his bruises. Yeah, you let me keep it. Mom said it was too big for my shelf. Laughter followed, brittle but building, stitching them closer. Yet romance crept in uninvited, a soft counterpoint to the rage. It started with Jamie Callahan, the barista at the corner intelligentsia with freckles like constellations and a laugh that disarmed faster than any taser. Alex had nursed crushes before, fleeting, fearful, but Jamie was different. Openly bi, with a pride flag tattooed on his collarbone and a habit of slipping free pastries into Alex's bag. Heard what happened, Jamie said one humid afternoon when Alex limped in for his usual. His green eyes softened, hand brushing Alex's as he passed the cup. That badge? Is not stupid. It's brave. Alex flushed, the warmth spreading like contraband contrails. Thanks. Feels pretty dumb now. Jamie leaned on the counter, sleeves rolled to show the ink. Nah. Come to the lakefront picnic this weekend? My band's playing acoustic sets. No badges required. Just you. It was a dare wrapped in invitation, and Alex took it. Marcus, eavesdropping from the living room shadows, felt a pang, not jealousy, but a father's fierce protectiveness laced with his own ghosts. In the bureau, he'd loved once. A fellow agent, undercover in Berlin, stolen nights in safe houses that ended in a bullet neither saw coming. He'd buried that part of himself deeper than redacted files, emerging straight-edged and solitary. Watching Alex text Jamie back, "Hell yes," stirred the silt. But justice didn't wait for healing. The leak came via a burner email from an old CI. Grainy dashcam stills of Reed and Vance, timestamps matching Alex's assault. Marcus printed them, pinning the photos to a corkboard like a war room relic. Got him, he told Alex over dinner, Thai delivery steaming on the coffee table. Alex's fork paused midair. What now? Sue? Press charges. Both. And more. Marcus's plan unfolded. A civil suit for excessive force, backed by amicus briefs from Lambda Legal. A rally outside City Hall to shame the brass. And, riskiest, flipping Vance, the rookie, with a juvie record Marcus had unearthed via LexisNexis. Leverage. That's how you break him. Alex's eyes widened, a mix of awe and unease. You're like James Bond, but with spreadsheets. Marcus chuckled, but the levity died when Hargrove called the next day. Marcus, off the record, back off. Reed's connected. Union reps his brother-in-law. You push, it gets ugly. Already is. Marcus shot back. You gonna help or watch? Silence. Then a sigh. Can't. But check the evidence locker. Serial 47 to 19. For the kid, it was a breadcrumb, laced with betrayal's aftertaste. Hargrove, the partner who'd pulled Marcus from a firefight in Fallujah, now hedging. Marcus went that night, badge or no, old habits, slipping through a side door with a duplicated key from his glory days. The locker yielded Vance's notepad, scribbles of slurs, a doodle of a rainbow crossed out. Jackpot. But as he snapped pics, footsteps echoed. Reed, off shift, beer on his breath. You slimy fed, Reed growled, lunging. Marcus dodged, years of hand-to-hand surging back. A knee to the gut, elbow to the throat. Reed crumpled, gasping, but not before his radio squawked alive. Intruder, evidence room. Marcus bolted, heart pounding like a war drum, the notepad clutched like contraband. He made it to the truck, peeling out as sirens wailed. Alex's text lighting his phone. Jamie says hi. You okay? The fallout hit like a monsoon. By morning, CPD had a bolo on Marcus, suspected tampering, and reporters swarmed the apartment, microphones thrusting like spears. Elena arrived furious, scooping Alex amid the chaos. This is madness. You're dragging him into your vendetta. It's his fight too, Marcus protested, but doubt gnawed. Alex, pale in the doorway, met his gaze. I want this, Mom. For real. Jamie became the anchor then, whisking Alex to the Adler Planetarium for a distraction date, stars projected on domes, hands brushing in the dark. Under the glow of Orion, Alex confessed the bruises, the fear. Jamie listened, then kissed him soft and sure. Promise without pressure. You're not alone, he murmured, and for the first time, Alex believed it. But the climax brewed in shadows. Marcus's anonymous drop to the Sun-Times exploded online. Justice for Alex trending. Protests swelling from Boys Town to Daly Plaza. Reed and Vance suspended pending IA probe. But the betrayal cut deeper when Hargrove's name surfaced in the union logs. Testifying for the cops, painting Alex as provocative. Marcus confronted him at a dive bar off Michigan Avenue, the air thick with stale peanuts and old grudges. You sold out, Marcus accused, fists balled. Hargrove's eyes were bloodshot, weary. Department first, Mark. Always was. You think I don't know about Berlin? Your distraction? We all got skeletons. The words landed like shrapnel, reopening Marcus's vaulted heart. He stormed out, but not before Hargrove slipped a USB. Full body cam footage. Unedited, the assault in brutal clarity. Slurs echoing like indictments. That night, as rain lashed the windows, Marcus played it for Alex. The boy's face crumpled, reliving the horror, but then hardened. Use it. All of it. The trial unfolded like a storm front rolling over the prairie. Pre-trial hearings in the Dirksen Federal Building, where the air hummed with the weight of precedent and prejudice. Marcus, pro bono with a ACLU firebrand named Lena Torres, built the case layer by layer, depositions from eyewitnesses, that jogger, guilt-stricken, finally coming forward, expert testimony on queer panic, defenses long debunked, and the body cam as crown jewel. Alex took the stand first, voice steady despite the gallery's stares. I wasn't resisting. I was existing. That badge? It's who I am. The defense painted him as agitator, a disruptive element in uniform's path, but cracks showed. Vance folded under cross, sweat beading as Torres replayed his slurs. "You called my client a freak. Explain." He stammered. Heat of the moment. But the jury, a diverse cross-section of Chicago's mosaic, shifted uncomfortably. Reed held firmer. A wall of bluster. Kid was mouthing off. Pride makes em bold. But Marcus's redirect was surgical, pulling the union logs, exposing the cover-up. "And your partner's testimony? The one who called it sliding? That's not protection, that's conspiracy." Hargrove's betrayal hung heaviest, a ghost in the courtroom. He testified last for the defense. Voice gravel, no malice, just protocol. But his eyes met Marcus's across the aisle, regret flickering like a faulty bulb. Later, in the shadowed hallway, he cornered Marcus. "I did it for the badge. For us. You get that? I got nothing left for us," Marcus replied. But the words tasted like ash. That night, alone in the apartment, Alex bunking with Jamie for moral support, Marcus cracked open a bottle, toasting absent lovers and lost brothers. The USB burned in his pocket, Hargrove's final gift. Audio logs of precinct chatter. "Rivera kid? Let him squeal. No one's touching us." Romance bloomed for Alex amid the tempest. A tender rebellion. Jamie's band gig at the lakefront turned into stolen evenings. Bike rides along the drive. Ice cream cones melting in the July sun. Kisses that tasted of salt and possibility. "You're my safe harbor," Alex whispered one twilight, foreheads touching on a bench overlooking the yacht club. Jamie grinned, tugging him closer. "And you're the storm I want to weather." But Marcus watched from afar, protective instincts warring with a budding envy. Not for the boy, but for the ease of it. He found himself lingering at Intelligentsia, ordering black coffee just to catch glimpses. Jamie's easy charm, Alex's laugh unfurling like a flag. One afternoon, emboldened, Marcus approached. "You're good for him," he said gruffly, extending a hand. Jamie shook it firm. "He's tougher than he looks, sir. Takes after you." The words pierced, and Marcus nodded, throat tight. "Call me Marcus. And thanks." The climax crested on a sweltering August morning. Verdict day. The courtroom packed. Elena gripping Alex's hand. Mia in the back row with a sign, "Love wins." Protesters chanting faintly outside. Judge Harlan, a grizzled vet with a rainbow pin on his robe, cleared his throat. "On counts of excessive force and civil rights violation, we find the defendants guilty." Gasps rippled. Vance blanched. Reed's face twisted to stone. Sentencing followed swift. 2 years probation. Community service at the very center Alex volunteered at, and a $250,000 payout for therapy. Lost wages. Awareness campaigns. But the real victory was Hargrove's quiet resignation, announced in a presser. Sometimes, justice means stepping aside. Outside, amid hugs and camera flashes, Alex turned to Marcus, tears streaking. "We did it, Dad." Marcus pulled him close, the embrace fierce. "You did, kid. I just showed up late." Betrayal's shadow lingered, though in the appeals filed, the union grumbles, the way some cops still averted eyes on the street. But humanism bloomed in the cracks. Reed's mandated sessions yielding a halting apology letter to Alex, Reed in group therapy, Vance volunteering at youth shelters, eyes haunted but opening. Marcus, too, evolved, joining PFLAG meetings, his Berlin ghost laid to rest in journaled confessions. Fall crept in with crisp leaves skittering like confetti. Alex back at school, badge repinned prouder. Jamie met him after classes, backpacks slung casual, their hands intertwining without fear. One evening, over family dinner, Elena thawing, Mia cracking jokes, Marcus raised a glass. To justice. And to us. Alex clinked, eyes shining. To starting over. Winter's first snow dusted Chicago like forgiveness, blanketing the scars of summer in quiet white. Alex thrived in the hush. Senior year essays on civil rights icons, debate club victories laced with fire, and nights tangled in Jamie's arms at indie film screenings. Moonlight rewatched until the dialogues etched their souls. Their love was a slow burn, romantic in its everyday poetry. Mixtapes curated for commutes, notes slipped into lockers quoting Auden. We must love one another or die. No grand gestures, just the profound ordinary. A humanism Marcus marveled at from his armchair perch. He'd taken a new gig, consulting for the city's LGBTQ task force, auditing precinct trainings with a hawk's eye. Hargrove's absence left a void, filled awkwardly by coffee meetups with Lena Torres, her sharp humor a bomb. You're not bad at this redemption arc, Rivera. She'd tease, and he'd grunt, but smile. Yet conflict simmered beneath the peace. An anonymous threat arrived in February. A typed note slid under the apartment door. Badge or no? Freaks bleed. Marcus traced it to a Reed sympathizer, a beat cop named Ellis, cornered in a dimly lit diner off Archer Avenue. You think this scares me? Marcus leaned in. Voice ice. I've stared down worse than you. Ellis sneered, but folded under pressure, a recorded confession. Charges pending. It was small, but it fortified justice as marathon, not sprint. The deepest reckoning came in spring. Pride Month circling like renewal. Alex, healed but forever marked, organized a youth march 100 strong, badges gleaming under confetti cannons. Marcus marched beside him, arm linked with Elena's, Jamie scouting the route on his bike. As they crested the bridge over the Chicago River, rainbows arcing in the mist, Alex paused, turning to his father. You know why I wore it that night? Not to provoke. To say, I'm here. Marcus nodded, throat constricting. And I'm listening now. Every damn day. The betrayal that once fractured them. Marcus's silence. Hargrove's hedge. Transmuted into strength. Hargrove reappeared at the march's end. Civilian clothes rumpled. A tentative olive branch. 2 tickets to a Cubs opener. If you're still talking to ghosts. Marcus took them, clapping his shoulder. 1 game. Then we see. Alex, spotting them, grinned wide. Forgiveness as fierce as fight. That night, the family gathered at a rooftop bar in River North. City lights sprawling like a promise kept. Jamie proposed a toast. To the badges that bind us, the ones we wear, and the ones we earn. Laughter rose, glasses chiming, and in that chorus, the story's arc completed. Not tidy triumph, but a humanistic mosaic, flawed, fervent, enduring. Alex leaned into Jamie, whispering dreams of college in Boston, shared apartments, futures unwritten. Marcus watched, heart full, knowing the real justice wasn't in verdicts, but in the love that outlasted them all. As the skyline twinkled, a single firework burst, brilliant, fleeting, echoing the badge's defiant gleam. In America's heartland, amid the grit and grace, they pressed on, beaten, but unbroken, betrayed, but beloved.